ride with this moment. We own it.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Birch Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Birch is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Hi, I'm Linda Kilgore. This is my 35th year with State Farm, my 25th year here in Campbell County. I'm not a high-pressure salesman. I like to just sit down with my customers and help them decide what's right for them. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon.
Now talk a little bit about the personal trainers. How good are they down here?
They're very great. We love Howard. He's very good with people. He always has people in here. He's working with them really well. They're seeing results. He's one of the best that we have, I would say.
So now, would you guys recommend your friends to come to Castleton as opposed?
Absolutely. We got a lot of friends who actually have started coming here, and I would recommend this gym for any other gym in the Follette.
Families work out nowadays. Is this a good family?
Yes, it's very family oriented. They have places for the kids to play in the back if they're coming in while the parents are working out.
Right.
And it's very family oriented. There's things for everyone to do, really.
Hello folks, this is Robert again from your Sears Hometown store. If you're having trouble tossing and turning in bed or having a backache or your partner wakes you up when they come to bed, we can solve your problem with our Sealy Posturepedic mattresses or other name brand mattresses at your Sears Hometown store. So come on down to your Sears Hometown store and get some rest for your eyeballs with one of our Sealy or other fine mattresses.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joey Fortnite from world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, fun with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pasta, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Welcome to your Hometown Sears studio. My name is Les Martin, along with our executive producer, Honeybee.
And I'm Colby Bird.
We certainly appreciate you taking an hour out of your day to join us here on WLAF 1450, the AM side of the dial, also 100.9 FM side of the dial, as well as www.1450wlaf.com. We've got a lot of stuff we've got to cover. We wasn't on the air Thursday night.
No, we weren't.
And before I get started, I need to go over all of our sponsors.
Okay, yeah.
I'm only going to be on my soapbox tonight.
Okay.
I'm most definitely. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air. Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Hey, who?
Brent.
No, Brent ain't here. It's Colby.
It's Colby.
Oh.
Well, don't sound so disappointed for crying out loud. He talks too. So how have you been?
Huh?
How have you been?
Pretty good.
Oh yeah? Well, good. I can't wait for football season to start. I know we're in baseball season. We're going to be talking about the Campbell County Cougars tonight as well.
I can't wait to that stuff too. I can't wait to start.
I know. Everybody's ready for football season. You know.
I wonder what it starts about that. I can tell.
Exactly. I will. I'll make sure I do that every time I talk to him on the air. I'll make sure I tell him that you said hey. Well, we're going to go over our sponsors real quick, and you call us back on Thursday, okay?
Okay. Have a good night.
You too. Who's your favorite team?
Go Cougars.
We'll talk to you Thursday.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, here we go. Miss Kay calls every
She does.
time
She's a
we're on
loyal
air.
caller, yeah.
A loyal caller.
Yeah. Usually the first caller, too. It's always, yeah.
Most 9 times out of 10, she is the first caller.
Yep.
First and foremost, we want to say thank you to Birch Screen Printing, downtown La Follette, beside the Birch Memorial Bridge. As you can see, I have got on a nice windbreaker. The sign you see behind us, the hoodies that we gave away here about a month or so ago.
Yeah, a couple months back. Yeah.
A couple months back.
Probably coming in handy now. Well, they were in a couple weeks. A couple weeks ago.
They was like gold. Anyway, we want to say thank you to Bird Screen Printing. Their phone number is 562-3044. Baseball season's just around the corner. Matter of fact, they're probably practicing right now as we speak. So get your orders in. Make sure you go down and see Larry, Kobe, and Delta Dawn. She loves it when I call her Delta Dawn. You know what? She really does. She said it was about some crazy woman in a flower.
I don't know. I've heard the song before, but I've never really thought much into it. But.
Yeah, me either. I haven't thought much into it either. And it may be a bad song, but Delta Dawn just fits.
It fits, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
See? So anyway, we want to say thank you to Bird Screen Printing, downtown La Follette. The phone number, once again, is 562-3044. Also, Castleton's Fitness, folks. They've got anything, all types of equipment. It doesn't really matter what you need to work on, whether it's you want to turn your keg into a six-pack or turn your six-pack into a keg. You can do it. You can do anything you need to down at Castleton's Fitness. Their phone number is 566-1393. Step into Castleton, step out a brand new you. And I was teasing about turning your six-pack into a keg. You do that at the table. And the way that you get the weight off, you go to Castleton's Fitness and work out and exercise. They have a sauna, a registered nurse on staff. They have CrossFit. Monday and Wednesday, I believe, at 5 o'clock. They have Zumba. They have kickboxing for the ladies and men as well. Men, if you'd like to go try the kickboxing or the Zumba. I am not ashamed of my masculinity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would not care a bit to go.
You go in there and dance and.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. You don't think I would?
I don't know.
Yes, I would too. You wouldn't?
I would probably stick to the weights and maybe the treadmill.
Really?
Yeah. Or elliptical.
I would try the Zumba. I would try the kickboxing. I would try the CrossFit. The only problem for me is I get home too late to get down there and do all of that when it's time.
Yeah. Well, now their gym, they're open 24 hours though.
Yes. Their gym is open 24 hours. You go down and sign up. You can go anytime that you want to, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't really matter. If it's Christmas Day and you want to go, guess what? All you have to do is swipe your card, walk on in, exercise, get your groove on, be finished, and go home. So it doesn't really matter. Their phone number, once again, is 566-1393, 566-1393. I also have some free one-day passes. If anybody's interested, all you have to do is call us. We'll give you a free one-day pass. Johnny Burge? You might need something like this, my friend. Especially after you went over there to the Tennessee Vol game and went chalk talk with Donnie Tyndall and then lost the game. That is crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, Castleton's Fitness, folks, their phone number is 566-1393. We want to say thank you to State Farm. For 35 years, she's been in the insurance business. She's been an adjuster. She's been from start to finish, A to B, and on for 35 years. Linda Kilgore, the State Farm agent. Her phone number is 566-5000, 566-5000. Anything that you need. Let's face it, all the snow, I'm sure you had a fender bender. Possibly. If you have, you've got State Farm. It's handled. It's taken care of. With all this rain, there may be some flooding in your area. I don't know. But if your home gets flooded, go down and see Linda Kilgore. She offers flood insurance as well. Any type of insurance that you need, State Farm has it. Linda Kilgore. Her phone number is 566-5000. We want to say thank you to Sears, your hometown Sears store in the Food City Shopping Center at the Woodlands Mall. Their phone number is 562-7700. They have the big box of washing powders. They have mattress and box springs, stoves and refrigerators, washer and dryers, lawn tractors and weed eaters, hand tools and cook stove appliances, you name it. I mean, anything that you need, inside or outside of your home, Sears, your hometown Sears store, has exactly what you need. Last but certainly not least, we want to say thank you to Charlie's Pizza, often imitated, never duplicated. And I do mean never duplicated. Their phone number is 562-0116 for all your call-in orders. Or if you'd like to go in and sit down, great family environment, great family atmosphere. They're open Monday through Saturday, and it is a mainstay in this community and has been for a long time.
No, it really has him.
So go down and see Jerry and all his fine folks at Charlie's Pizza. Once again, their phone number is 562-0116. And with that being said, now we're going to probably get on to some sports talk.
Yeah, sounds good.
We certainly appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to join us. And let's face it, there was a couple of weeks we wasn't on.
Yeah.
Due to the weather. Last Thursday we was not on due to the fact of my son was sick and I was up all night Wednesday night.
Partially the weather too. It wasn't weather wasn't too pleasing there.
Exactly. Plus I stayed up all night Wednesday night. I worked all day Thursday, came home, and I was just too tired to come up here. I apologize. But anyway, for those folks who wants to hang around and watch us, we certainly appreciate it. If you would like to call in, the phone number is 423-566-1450, 423-566-1450, or 423-562-3557, 562-3557. That's area code 423. All right. Before I get on to the Campbell County Cougars, I have got to talk a little bit about a tournament that was held here. The Border War, I believe, was the name of the tournament this past weekend. Doug Boshiers, I think the world of you. But your officials stunk. The officials that officiated the basketball games, how can I say this without being mean? The bottom line is, I was an official for a short time, a basketball and a football official. Football official, I spent about 7 years doing that, 5 to 6, 7 years. Basketball, I did that a couple of years. One thing that we always said, you don't want to ever be in the position to where you take the game away from the kids. Yeah. What you call at the beginning of the game, you should be able to call at the end of the game. If you don't call it at the beginning of the game, then you shouldn't call it at the end of the game. You follow me?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if you see a foul, you don't call it at the beginning of the game. That's not even what I'm even talking about. But my son's team, and I'm not disheartened that they lost. I mean, I am, but it's not because of the fact that I'm on my soapbox about the officiating. There were some good officials there. There were some TSSAA officials there, and they were some guys that looked like they just got out of the recliner, took a cigar out of their mouth and set their beer down and come out there and officiated some games. That's a fact. I'm going to call it like I see it. It was horrible, Doug Boshiers. I would hope the next time that you have a tournament here in town, I would hope that you would take in consideration that some of these officials that you get has pride in the way that they call a game. Plain and simple. It's one of those situations to where you want the kids to go out there and play and have a good time, and may the best team win. I'm all for that. But to have some officials that right out blatantly calls fouls against one team, the whole second half of my son's basketball game, they called 2 fouls on the opposing team, and the second half is 20 minutes long. These are 6th and 7th graders, by the way.
Yeah, so it's middle school tournament they're running.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, does that sound even close to being legit?
I don't know what to say.
Just tell us how you feel.
Yeah.
It's 6th and 7th graders playing at a tournament, and there's 2 fouls called against the opposing team that my son was playing the whole 20 minutes.
I guess they played a pretty clean game.
Yes, they did. Absolutely. You sure you wasn't one of those officials? Anyway.
No, I mean that's pretty bad. I mean
it's horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible. It stunk. I mean, the officiating was really bad. But it is what it is. I took notice that one time one of our kids got a little angry, and they called 2 quick fouls on him. He had to sit down the first half. He came back in, and before the 10-minute mark in the second half, they already had 5 fouls called on him, and he was out of the game. My son fouled out, and he was out of the game with about 5 minutes left to go. My son never fouled out of a game the whole time he played middle school ball last year. Not one time did he foul out. Not one time did he ever get into foul trouble.
No.
That's when you draw the line. When kids go out there and practice, and they prepare to go to a tournament, and then they go to the tournament, and just to have the officials to take the game out of their hand,
Yeah.
they were winning by 8 points at one time. They lost by 8. So it was I think it was 8, somewhere in that neighborhood, but they lost. Bottom line is, Doug Boshiers, my hat's off to you. Done a great job with the tournament as far as getting the teams in. Bad job on picking some of the officials. All right. I'm off my soapbox. Is that all right? Wasn't too bad, was it?
No, it wasn't too bad. It was.
You think Doug will still be my friend?
Yeah.
Sure he will.
I think he'll respect you for
I think
speaking
so.
your opinion.
I think so. Anyway, let's talk about the Campbell County baseball.
Okay.
The baseball team, of course, did not come out too well. I've got to pull my stats and things like that up real quick. But they didn't turn out. They had 2 games Monday night, and the reason why they had a doubleheader, they played at Gibbs, to the best of my knowledge. And they had a doubleheader because they played Gibbs at home Monday night and was supposed to play Gibbs tonight at Campbell County High School. Well, instead of doing that, they went ahead and played both games last night. Here's the thing. The first game, it was 16 for Gibbs. Campbell County scored 6 runs. It was over, and they played 6 innings. Gibbs had 16 hits with 3 errors. Campbell County had 2 hits and 1 error, according to the information that I've got on Game Changer from Mr. Brian Miracle, the assistant coach. Now, here's one of the situations to where it was probably a tough job. It was very tough for Campbell County High School football. I mean baseball. I'm sitting here thinking and looking at all the information that I've got, but it won't let me have all of it. But the bottom line is, I'm trying to find this young man's name. He had a great game last night. I don't remember his name. He had a great game the first game. He had, I think it was 2 or 3 RBIs.
What did it say there at the top? On up there by the box.
Brandon Miller's big day.
Yeah.
It was Brandon Miller. Thank you.
Right there. There's Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
He had, let's see if it shows his stats real quick, but he had a big game, and it's not going to let me. So with that being said, his big game wasn't big enough, wasn't good enough. He probably needs some more players around him to have some big games. I don't know who the losing pitcher was, don't know who the starting pitcher was, but we do know that the final score in the first game was Gibbs 16, Campbell County High School 6. And you know, Gibbs is starting to be a thorn in our side. At basketball, at baseball, and they've tried to be a thorn in our side at football.
Yeah, football, they've a couple close games there in the regular season the past 2 years.
Right. So we cannot let this new team that we're playing come in here and dominate us like that. They're a smaller, I think they're a smaller school, but maybe they're not. If you've seen where their high school was at, you know, it's in Corrington.
Well, my wife went to Gibbs High School, so I know where it's at over there.
Oh, Lord. We still don't need to let them have the upper hand.
No.
You know what I mean? The second game Campbell County played, it was over in 5 innings. The score was 13-0 for Gibbs. Game highlights. I mean, really, we had 1 hit, 1 error, no runs. Gibbs had 13 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. It looked like they played a cleaner game the second game than they did the first game. So we talked to Coach Mays last week on the show, and he said that the practice times and these spring games that he was supposed to play, these preseason games, scrimmages, whatever you want to call them. He said that he felt like that it set his team back, but at the same time, it set other teams back as well. I don't know where we start at as far as maybe Gibbs has got some different practice availabilities than what we have. I know they can practice in the gym, they can lift weights, they can go in the batting cage, but it's still not the same thing as getting on the field and
playing the game.
So hopefully they'll bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the first couple games. And I've always, heard this that, baseball's more like a marathon. I mean, the first couple games really can't define your season. As in, a sport like football, if you lose the first 2 games, everybody's like, oh, the season's, done, a lot of times when you come out and lose the first couple games. But in baseball, they got, 30 games. So they've got plenty of games, plenty of chance to come back and redeem themselves and win a few ball games.
Well, I'm looking at the weather because their next game is going to be Thursday. Supposed to be Thursday at Clinton.
It's going to rain every day this week, I believe.
Well, Thursday, it's not calling for any rain at all. 20% chance Thursday. So maybe they'll get that game in. Of course, 90% Friday, 90% Saturday. So hopefully they'll be able to get the game in on Thursday. If they play Thursday, according to the schedule, they play Union County, and it will be at Clinton. It's a non-league game, so hopefully they can get back on the winning track. The Campbell County Baseball Cougars, and hopefully everything will turn out for the good. All right. Now, I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. What do you guys talk about over there?
I got a little bit of NFL news today. There was a few trades, a few big names signed to contracts. And if we get a chance, we'll talk about the SEC tournament. State of Tennessee basketball as we try to get a...
Yeah, we've got to talk about the SEC tournament. I'd soon talk about the SEC tournament as talk about NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me ask you a question real quick. Josh Richardson, and I don't know if it matters to me, he was named to the SEC Men's Basketball Community Service Team. Who cares? I don't care. So he's a fine, upstanding young man.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
That to me, he is a student athlete as far as I'm concerned. He needs to play the game and lead the Vols to a win.
To wins, yeah. Well, I think that's an award too that they give to players, just give them kind of a pat on the back for going out and being
it's
good.
It does it? Don't get me wrong.
Off the court is on the court, but it's much better to. From a player's perspective, to get maybe a first-team All-American.
Right. Yeah. He didn't get that.
No.
He got first-team All-SEC.
All-SEC,
and defensive team All-SEC. And he was the only player on the Tennessee Volunteers. And I think Amani Moore should have got at least second team.
Yeah.
My personal opinion.
Yeah, especially those last few games there. He came up big in some ball games.
But the bottom line is, does it really matter to Josh Richardson if he's named to the SEC Men's Basketball Community Service Team? It probably does, since he's a fine, young, upstanding young man. That's all right.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're going to tell me about your accomplishments, tell me about something that you want to do on the basketball court if you're a student athlete, or the football field. And I know I probably sound totally wrong for saying that, but it is what it is. So, anyway, the Vols will play Vandy Thursday night.
Yeah, that Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
Now, the tournament bracket, the SEC tournament bracket, and we're not going to go into too much of a detail real quick, but just to give a take on it, you originally thought that we would play Kentucky if we beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah, see, I didn't see the bracket. I originally thought that the lowest seed would play the highest seed going into that Friday game. So if we beat Vandy, I would assume that there's a good possibility, us being the 10th seed, that we would possibly go in being the lowest seed. But it looks like we're on the side where we'll be playing Arkansas. So
yeah. Well, there's games going on now. Mississippi State and Auburn, South Carolina, Missouri.
Well, that's tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow?
Yeah, they'll be playing tomorrow night.
Kentucky will play Kentucky will play what, Saturday?
Yeah, they'll be playing.
Friday
No, they'll
or
be playing
Saturday?
Friday.
Friday?
No.
I thought they had two buys.
Well, they consider that the double bye. They consider that Wednesday the session 1 and then session 2, and then Kentucky don't play till session 3.
Okay, got you. So, in other words, on paper it's a double bye, but actuality they play Thursday, Kentucky plays Friday.
Yeah, because really, I mean, the way they have it set up now, where they added the extra 2 teams, you got 14 teams, and those Wednesday games are really like play-in games.
So there's somebody playing right now. I mean,
well, no,
tomorrow.
they'll be playing tomorrow night. You'll have
Wednesday.
Yeah, you'll have Mississippi State and Auburn,
right?
And then you'll have South Carolina and Missouri.
That's what I thought they'd play tomorrow night.
Yeah, they'll be playing tomorrow night.
And then Tennessee will
play the following night.
And then Kentucky will play Friday. Yeah. So it is a double bye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to check and make sure. I thought you were saying that this was on Thursdays.
No.
And I'll tell you something else too, real quick. This has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. But you know what I don't like? I don't like somebody to run a stop sign and pull out in front of me and do 15 mile an hour under the speed limit.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever run into a situation like
that? I've had that happen. Yeah, or you'll be passing somebody and somebody will speed up in front of you and get in front of you and then slow down.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, stop and think about it. They'll run a stop sign, but yet they want to make sure they stay 10 mile an hour or 15 mile an hour under the speed limit. Yeah. And you're behind them.
Yeah.
And then they're looking in the mirror because you're riding their bumper.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I drive a lot. That's the reason why I wanted to throw that out there. Also, NASCAR has fined Steve Addington, which he is the crew chief. And I don't know if you know anything about NASCAR.
Well, I don't know
anything about NASCAR?
Not really. I don't watch a lot of NASCAR.
Really?
No. I did when I was a kid, but I just kind of.
This is a Just Sports show.
Yeah. Well.
Sure it is. It's absolutely. Just like most people think NASCAR drivers they are not athletes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean NASCAR, it's respected as a sport, but I just never, I followed it a little bit as a kid, but just kind of got out of it.
Well, Steve Addington, which is a crew chief of Justin Allgaier, drives a number 51 car. He got fined $25,000 for breaking the rules. Las Vegas last weekend. Paul Wolf, which is the crew chief for Brad Keselowski, got placed on probation for breaking the rules at Las Vegas last weekend. So how long he's going to be on probation or vacation, whichever one you call it, because if he breaks the rule again, he's on probation, then he'll miss some races. Mm-hmm. Also, Tony Stewart's complaining about the setup package, the rules package. NASCAR went to an entirely different rules package. And I'm a Tony Stewart fan. But you know what, Tony? Shut up and drive the car. If you cannot tell your crew chief what you need to make your car better, then maybe it's time that you get out of the seat and put somebody else in it. Mm-hmm. You agree?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Donnie Tyndall. If he can't figure out how to win and break a press, and tell his kids how to break a press, or tell his kids how to run a 2-3 zone, or tell his kids how to play a boxing one, then he needs to get out of coaching. Mm-hmm. But to make a long story short, NASCAR has changed the rules package this year. The driver now, it's different than what it was last year. The driver now can adjust the track bar inside their vehicle. Before, if you needed a track bar adjustment, you had to come into the pits and they would do the adjustments and so on and so forth. But now that they've changed the rules package, you can do the track bar inside your vehicle, and of course you can't do anything else. Maybe turn some brake in it or something like that. But that's about it. Folks, we come up on the break. So with that being said, we're going to turn it over and let our producer take us to break. You're watching Just Sports on WLAF Radio.
Fans, wherever you are, Burge Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Burge Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Burge is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Burge Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Now, talk a little bit about the personal trainers. How good are they down here?
They're very great. We love Howard. He's very good with people. He always has people in here. He's working with them really well. They're seeing results. He's one of the best that we have, I would say.
So now, would you guys recommend your friends to come to Castleton as opposed?
Absolutely. We got a lot of friends who actually have started coming here, and I would recommend this gym for any other gym to follow.
Families work out nowadays. Is this a good family?
Yes, it's very family oriented. They have places for the kids to play in the back if they're coming in while the parents are working out.
Right.
And it's very family oriented. There's things for everyone to do, really.
Hi, I'm Linda Kilgore. This is my 35th year with State Farm, my 25th year here in Campbell County. I'm not a high-pressure salesman. I like to just sit down with my customers and help them decide what's right for them. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon.
Folks, this is Robert again from your Sears hometown store. If you're having trouble tossing and turning in bed, or having a backache, or your partner wakes you up when they come to bed, we can solve your problem with our Sealy Posturepedic mattresses or other name brand mattresses at your Sears hometown store. So come on down to your Sears hometown store and get some rest for your eyeballs with one of our Sealy or other fine mattresses.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joey Fortnite, the world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, fun with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands. Because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pastas, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Welcome back to the Tuesday night edition of Just Sports. My name is Les Martin, along with Colby Burge. We certainly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. And of course, you know, it's tough to do sports this time of year when there's
it's kind of a dead period, in sports. Yeah, which I mean, we're coming up on March Madness. We got opening day, Major League Baseball coming up. So I mean, some good things.
There's a lot of Major League fans out there today.
What do you mean, out there in general, or listening to our show?
Both.
I mean, I think there's quite a few baseball fans out there. I mean, I always look at it as baseball.
If everybody loved baseball like Brian Miracle, there'd be a ton of baseball fans.
Well, I always look at it. I think baseball is still the second leading sport, just behind football.
Really?
Yeah. In professional sports.
You don't think it's NASCAR?
I wouldn't say it would be NASCAR. I mean, NASCAR is pretty popular, but
it's for rednecks, right?
Well,
that's what you're thinking. That's what you're thinking.
I wasn't going to say it.
You weren't going to say anything. No. But was you thinking rednecks? No.
No. I mean, NASCAR is pretty popular in the South, but I mean, they race all over the country. So I mean, you come from California. They got they race in New York as well, don't they? So they go all around the country.
In New York.
Yeah. But no, like I said, I believe professional Major League Baseball, I believe it is the next sport right behind the NFL.
I agree with that.
I mean, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
College baseball doesn't get a lot of the, highlights and stuff as
Not
well
until
as
World Series time.
Yeah, the College World Series.
That's when they get a lot of their publicity.
Yeah.
Much like softball, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the situation is it would be football first because most everybody in America loves football.
Yeah, I mean, I love football too. I mean, I'm a huge football fan.
Yeah.
So
college and professional?
College and professional, yeah. And high school, so.
Yeah, high school as well. I don't like the NBA. I like NCAA basketball, I don't like the NBA.
I really just never got much into the NBA. I'll watch a few games, especially during playoff time, but, I guess one of the reasons why I never really got into the NBA is because, Tennessee really didn't bring a lot of players into the NBA, and our closest team here, we got a team in Tennessee, but it's Memphis, the Memphis Grizzlies, so just...
Yeah, I agree. I'm not much of an NBA fan.
And the big reason I really got into baseball, I mean, my dad, he's been taking me to games since I was 6 or 7 years old up in Cincinnati. So I just, but going every year, and it just kind of, to the point where, baseball is my favorite sport. But
well, talking about football, Jake Locker. Have you heard about Jake Locker retiring after 4 years?
Yeah. It's a short career, but
yeah, it's very short. But I want to read something real quick before we move on. And I said I didn't want to really talk about a lot of football, but we'll talk about whatever, right?
Yeah.
He says he's retiring from football after much reflection and discussion with his family. He said he will always be grateful for having had the opportunity to realize my childhood dream of playing in the NFL and for the lifelong relationships I've developed because of that experience. Sounds like a bunch of hogwash to me. Football has always played a pivotal role in my life, and I love the game, but I no longer have the burning desire necessary to play the game for a living. How huge is that for somebody to love the game like Jake Locker does? Mm-hmm. And when I said hogwash, I was just being facetious. Mm-hmm. But to realize that you just don't have that desire to compete at that level anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's face it, he's only been in the NFL 4 years.
Yeah.
How tough is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough, and especially with the new, he was probably brought in with the new collective bargaining agreement too, right?
Yes.
Where he had the 4-year rookie deal, and that's really hurt a lot of young players too, coming in playing with a lower salary. Used to you'd have a rookie come in and they might sign him to a $100 million contract, and now they just get that base salary, and he probably lost a lot of money. Having to be in a situation where he took just that 4-year.
Well, he was an 8th overall pick in 2011.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, to continue to do so would be unfair to the next organization with whom I would eventually sign. I realize this decision is surprising to many, but I know in my heart this is the right decision, and I look forward to spending more time with my family and pursuing other interests. I just thought that was pretty interesting that he would come out and say that he just lost that desire. And, let's face it, Sam Bradford, he's only been in the league 5 years.
Yeah.
He's now been traded to Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia, and Foles went to...
Foles is going to the St. Louis Rams. Yeah. So our caller that calls in, Mickey, that calls in...
Yeah, the big Rams fan.
The big Rams fan.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's thinking about this trade. It's interesting. Plus, the Rams will get a draft pick as well. Yeah. So, that's something else. I want to talk a little bit about this Jarrett. Let me see if I can find it. Jarrett Guarantano.
Yeah, I heard about that earlier. That was he a 4-star, 5-star recruit quarterback?
He is a 4-star. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find it here exactly.
I believe it was on up there. Yeah, right there it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is a 4-star out of New Jersey, Oradell, New Jersey. And Austin Kendall has decommitted from the Vols. Mm-hmm. And now they're trying to get this kid for 2016, which is next year.
Yeah, be the following signing class.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Ohio State, along with Rutgers, is on his list as well. Mm-hmm. How does Tennessee compete with Ohio State with this kid? What do you do different? Of course.
Oh yeah, it looks like they sent him a nice little recruiting letter there that had
had his name on a street sign beside Peyton Manning.
What did it say? It said you could be next or something like that in the letter.
Yeah, it said you could be next.
That's pretty cool.
And he's a diehard Peyton Manning fan. Mm-hmm. He wears number 18 in high school because Peyton Manning's jersey is 18 in the NFL. Mm-hmm. He did say that, but it's one of those situations to where I don't like that. That's like sending a picture of a recruit in uniform on the front of a Sports Illustrated magazine.
A lot of teams do that now. I've been reading more and more about that. A lot of teams are doing that.
But I just don't understand that.
No.
I think it's dirty pool.
No. And I mean, as restricted as the NCAA is on recruiting, I don't even know how a lot of that stuff would even be considered legal. But I guess, in the NCAA, his eyes, is it, legal to do that. But
Well, I don't
would it
know.
be an infraction? I guess it's not, though. I mean, it's
We'll stop
a
and,
lot of teams do that.
we'll
so.
stop and think about it. EA Sports would not allow their names to be placed on the
Oh, yeah.
NCAA football game, right?
No.
Through the college.
Yeah.
The college stopped all that, the NCAA.
Yeah, there's no more NCAA games at all.
Right.
You know, there's a big market for that too. I mean, NCAA football, I used to get it every year as well. I think,
Basketball?
Basketball
And they stopped all that.
as well.
So, but yet you can send a photograph of a Sports Illustrated cover to a recruit with them dressed out in your uniform with their number on it, saying Heisman hopeful or whatever it may be.
Well, I mean, as long as it's not an infraction, I mean, I wouldn't see it. You know, a team can do that because, I mean, it seems like everybody else is doing it, so.
Well, they have certainly got it in a situation to where they're certainly finding new, bigger and better ways to recruit. My personal opinion. And if it works for them, so be it. I just think it's dirty pool. I think if you had to recruit like Philip Foreman or Johnny Majors did back in the day, I think it's going to be a lot tougher then as it is today.
Yeah.
Just to be perfectly honest with you. Dak Prescott. Did you hear about Dak Prescott?
Yeah, he got in a
He was at
confrontation
a concert.
or something.
He was at a concert at a spring break. How can you allow your players to go to a spring break and ain't you responsible for them as a coach, as a mentor?
Yeah. You would think, but I mean.
Well, I don't know. Dak Prescott went to a concert during his spring fling or spring break, whatever the case may be. Got jumped, got beat up.
Yeah, I saw a couple pictures there. It looked like he,
Oh yeah,
got beat up. Yeah,
he got them eyes dotted.
Yeah.
But at least he didn't get in trouble while he was fighting.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Vic Wharton transferring to California?
No, I didn't actually.
Yes, he's transferring to California. Let's see who this guy is. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air.
Hey, fellas, it's Big Earl from Jacksboro. How y'all doing tonight?
Pretty
buddy.
good.
How are you?
Doing good, fellas. How y'all been, man? I hadn't talked to y'all in a long time.
Well, you know what? We're doing fantastic. We're sorry. The weather kind of got us, so we missed a couple of weeks because of the weather, which I hope I never see snow ever again. If I do, I hope it's in somebody else's state besides mine. And
Don't say that. Don't be careful. Don't be careful not to say that, because in the middle of summer, you'll be wishing for that snow back.
I don't know. I'm a summer type of guy. Of course, I've got to get me a Tilly hat. You know what a Tilly hat is? I'm sure you probably do. It's called a Tilly hat. That's the name brand of it, and it's got sunblock in it. And because I have precancerous cells on my face, my doctor says I've got to have a Tilly hat to put on my head.
Need a Big Earl hat. You know what a Big Earl hat is?
What?
That's where I stand next to you the whole time and block the sun out for you.
Well, that would work too, buddy.
Well, it was good talking to y'all, man. I tell you what, I've been busy. Hadn't had kids hardly even listen lately, man. It's been difficult, and I've been listening a little bit tonight. Listen to y'all talk a little bit about the NFL and what's going on, and I don't understand this. The NFL can't. They don't let the colleges do nothing. Here we are. Colleges get the signing day and they get the whole day to themselves, and now the NFL has created their own pro version of signing day.
Right.
All this stuff happening on the same day. This is like the pro version of signing day. Can they not let the colleges have nothing?
Right. I agree.
But hey, I get it and all this stuff. And I tell you what, I'm like you guys. Really kind of surprised about the Jake Locker thing, but you know what? Come to think of it, that's such a tough game to play. I'm really surprised if you don't see more of that happen, to be honest.
It kind of makes you.
That's such a tough sport. It's now almost year-round for those guys. They're out of it for a month or two, and then they're already back starting to train and starting to work hard again. I mean, heck, back in the old days, those guys had second jobs. That they have to go work. So it wasn't the year-long grind that it is now for those guys. So I'm not too surprised, but I guess I'm kind of surprised you don't see it more often, though.
Well, I am too. It kind of makes you wonder how Peyton Manning has lasted as long as he has. I mean, if Jake Locker has lost his desire after 4 years, I wonder if Peyton has ever questioned his desire.
I don't know, man. Some guys are, guys, you all seen the guys. I'm sure you grew up with them. I grew up with them. There's the guy that had all the talent and then never just did anything with it.
Right.
And you probably went to high school with a guy like that or a couple guys like that. You look at them and go, man, how could you not have taken that to the next level? But it's just some guys are wired differently than others, and they don't. Maybe it's a maturity thing, or maybe it's just maybe it's a self-esteem thing. I don't know, but I think everybody is wired differently about that. What makes someone like a Tom Brady, go out there the way he does and play? That burning desire he still shows on the sidelines, and want to win and want to win. What else has he got to prove, man? But he's going to go out there all the time. He's going to go out there and he looks like he's ready to kill somebody to win a football game.
Yeah, I took notice of that during the AFC Championship playoff, how distraught and aggravated that he got whenever he threw an incomplete pass or his wide receiver didn't catch the ball.
Yeah, and I think we don't see it as much with Peyton, but I think he has that same thing. He doesn't show it. I don't think as demonstratively as you see a Brady on the sideline, but I think it's there. And I don't think he has, I think if you probably talk to his teammates and stuff, he probably shows it a lot, like in practice and things like that. But he's got that desire. He's got that, for some of those guys, winning ain't never enough. It's just not enough. And I think other guys, winning's kind of important, but I think some things just start taking over,
Yeah.
And they start thinking about the fact they got security. And winning just isn't at the end of the day, winning ain't as important to them guys.
Hey, Big Earl, let me ask you a question. I remember, I'm 48 years old, and I don't tell many people that, but I remember as a kid growing up watching football, NFL football, I seen one player start to finish play with one team throughout his career, and now since the free agency has started back in the day, you see players jumping from team to team. There's no loyalty anymore to the organizations or the team like they were back in the day. Would you agree with that?
I would agree 100%, but let's be honest. That's a two-way street, though. And I get the other side of it as well. Yeah, and I think it's frustrating from the standpoint of you don't get an attachment to players your attachment becomes to the team, not to any players on the team anymore.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I think if you're a fan or a team of a losing franchise, and think a lot about baseball. Think about baseball before free agency. You were a bad team. You were a bad team for years, and you never had a chance to get better. Unless you hit the lottery with some young kid that turns out to be a great kid. It's all about who you bringing up in your system, and hopefully those guys are going to be good. At least now, and I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of it, but I get the value of the fact that you could be the worst team in the league this year, and you could win the Super Bowl the next year.
Right.
Yeah. And I think you think about it. You go back to like you said, you're 48 years old. You start thinking about the teams that were losers back then. They lost for years and years and years.
Yeah, like San Francisco 49ers or New England Patriots. You remember that?
Yeah, back in the 70s, sure. The Chargers. When were the Chargers ever good back in the end? Now they play the football a lot and had a big offense, but they never won anything.
Right.
So. I struggle with that a little bit because you lose the personal fact of having the players that are attached to a team for 12, 15 years. Think about the Steelers. That team was together forever. think about the Cowboys back in the 70s and late 70s. That team was together forever. You don't see that much anymore because now everybody has a chance to get better, and you're not going to hold on to a player past his prime. I mean, my gosh, you're in the Indianapolis Colts and you get rid of Peyton Manning. I don't care if he's got a broken neck. You're telling me you're getting rid of Peyton Manning?
Right.
It turned out, lucky for them, it turned out so far it's turned out to be pretty good. I mean, we'll see what happens 5 years from now. But yeah, I look at it. I look at that kind of two ways, and then also, you got to remember, you can get a great player in a bad organization, and he's stuck forever. And a lot of times they won't pay him, even the great players that great. I'll give you an example. Harmon Killebrew, I think he played for the Pirates.
Yes.
So, I think one year he wins the MVP, but the Pirates finished last in the league in the division that year. He goes in and asks for a raise. You know what the owner of the team said?
What's that?
Well, we finished last with you. We finished last without you. We don't need you.
Wow.
Down from the MVP. So that tells you right there. I mean, what was the chance of Harmon Killebrew ever going to make a decent payday if he can't go somewhere and sign a team that wants the services and wants to win?
Right.
I mean, it's a tough situation because you lose. Once you lose on one hand, you kind of gain in the other. And there's always kind of like, wait till next year, and the NFL becomes a more of a realistic, battle cry as opposed to, the team that was always the losers,
Well, you remember, it hasn't been too long ago, 10 years maybe, that Seattle Seahawks wasn't much of a team. You remember?
Oh, they were terrible.
Exactly. And through...
I mean, they had Jim Thorne as a pretty good quarterback. And they had, who was the running back they had up there for years?
Warner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Warner was a good running back. That's all they had. They had a Thorne and the wide receiver that was good up there. That's all they had. They had 3 players.
Largent, wasn't it? Largent.
Steve Largent.
Yeah. But I tell you, I think, it's a tough situation because, I saw where Darrell Revis has ended up going back to the pit. I mean, there's a lot of these guys nowadays. They just follow whoever's going to sign them.
Mm-hmm.
And
they go where the money's at.
And these guys can make, these guys maybe get to make their careers a little bit longer. And can maybe find somebody that's willing to pay them to play. But man, I tell you what, I understand it more today. I think as you get older, they start talking about these guys, get paid while you can, because that career ain't lasting forever. I kind of get that more now than I did when I was young.
Those careers today they're only lasting until about 33 to 34 years old, where before you would see a player, and my personal preference, I remember the quarterback for the Washington Redskins, Billy Kilmer.
Yep.
He played until it seemed like he was 40.
Yep.
And they was
the beer belly and
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and those guys weren't getting protected at quarterback like they did back in the day, like they do now. I laughed my head off. I was watching some of those old games. I've showed some old game highlights. Those defensive players beat those quarterbacks to death. They'd throw the ball, and the ball would be, the third wide receiver had already caught the ball, and those defensive ends are still hitting those quarterbacks.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, they would take those guys in two. They were slapping them upside the head and kicking them when they were down on the ground. I mean, you can't touch those guys today. I mean, those quarterbacks back in those days were tough as nails.
Well, sure, you had to be. I mean, look.
Yeah, you couldn't survive if you weren't, you're trying to be a pretty boy out there.
I think where they've done wrong, and this is my personal opinion, I think they've done wrong with overprotecting the quarterback, because I don't think the quarterback is in playing shape during the NFL season. And the reason why I say that is I remember as a kid playing football. When I first started playing football for the year, I would start hitting and start running, and every time I would take a hit, I kind of had cobwebs, if you know what I mean. But then I got into playing shape, and I could really lay down on hitting somebody, and they could hit me back, and I was fine. I don't think the quarterbacks is doing that much of that stuff now compared to like they were back in the day.
Well, I'll tell you what's even scarier, in my opinion, is now because of the penalties that they can throw on players are coming low.
Right.
I don't want to hit anybody high in the head. That's where you get the targeting and all these, penalties. So now they're coming low. So now you got all the darn leg injuries.
Yeah.
And you talk to the NFL players, and they're all like, man, you guys are ruining careers, coming, letting them, doing these things. What's these players now coming after their quarterbacks? They're all going low.
Yeah.
I think I'm like you. I think they're making a big mistake trying to overprotect, players. And now I think there's some instances where you got guys out there targeting, using their head to target people. But there's a lot of contact that, when a guy gets ready to hit somebody, he may be getting ready to hit somebody in the stomach, but man, by the time he gets there, the guy's head's in the way. Man, you're not targeting the guy's head. The guy's head just happens to be in the way. I think it's a penalty that they're gonna have to fix because you're changing outcomes of games by kicking people out of ball games.
Right.
That shouldn't be kicked out of ball games. I don't care if they go back and look at it. I think it's the most ridiculous thing to kick a player out of ball game for a head-to-head contact, unless it's just so blatantly flagrant. That the guy ought to, should be kicked out, and then he ought to be suspended for another game if it's that bad. I very rarely see something where it's just so blatant that I got to get kicked out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion. But of course, that's me being a little bit old school. I'm a little bit older than you, but it's still, I still have a hard time with it. Hey, but I'll kept up too much of your time. I apologize. It's good talking to you guys again. I appreciate y'all giving me time. And as usual, Big Earl dropped the knowledge and he's gone.
See, Big Earl.
We'll see.
Big Earl.
Yep.
He always just
He always comes up with something to make you think of something at a different angle, doesn't he?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, let's talk about the Southeastern Conference Tournament real quick, 2015. Of course, tomorrow we got Mississippi State and Auburn. Who you like in that game?
I'm going to go with Auburn.
Really?
Yeah, I think Auburn. I got to go with Pearl in that game.
Okay. Well, he's had a whole year to figure out his game, right?
Yeah. So by tournament time, he should be.
And what about South Carolina and Missouri?
I think South Carolina's going to win that game. I mean, Missouri, they only won.
You think South Carolina's got 2 good games in them in a row?
Who do they have there? They got. Oh, you're talking about after the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Missouri's really, they only won like 2 conference games this year. I think South Carolina will win that.
And South Carolina's 11 seed. Missouri's a 14 seed. Mm-hmm. Of course, Auburn's a 13 seed. So you're going for the underdog against Mississippi State, Auburn. You're going to pick South Carolina, which that's probably a lock.
Yeah.
Now, Tennessee and Vanderbilt Thursday night. They play at 7 o'clock.
We'll be playing right before we come on there, so
it's on
we'll probably be catching the end of it.
It's on the SEC network at 7 o'clock. I'll have it on here, so we can watch it as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But I think Vanderbilt beats Tennessee.
You think they do?
I think they beat them handily. I think
it's a good possibility. It just depends on what Tennessee team's going to come out. Is it going to be the team to come out and beat LSU last week, or is it going to be the team to come out this past Saturday and lost to South Carolina on their home floor on Senior Day? I mean, you don't know what you're going to get out of Tennessee.
If anything, Tennessee, the benefit for Tennessee is they are a very good road team. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah.
And even though I say a road team, they're going to be playing in Nashville.
Well, it's a neutral site, but I mean, still,
yeah.
It seems like if they're not playing in Thompson Bowling Arena, they play a pretty good ball game. So
let's hope that there's not a whole lot of Tennessee fans show up, because then it may look like a home game.
Yeah, they might lose. Distract them.
Yeah, exactly. Ole Miss will play the winner Thursday night of the Missouri-South Carolina game. And, of course, the winner of the Vanderbilt-Tennessee game will play Arkansas, which Arkansas is a number 2 seed, which that's a given. Mm-hmm. Kentucky also, as well as a number 1 seed. We knew that was coming. I look for Tennessee. I don't know.
This is a winnable game. They have a shot. I mean, they beat Vanderbilt on the road. They came back and won that game on the road, and they were up on Vanderbilt over here in Knoxville by 15 points
And lost.
and blew the game there in the last couple minutes, Jim.
Wow. Anyway, we'll talk more about it Thursday.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Folks, we have come up against our hour. We certainly appreciate those who have joined, those who have called in. We haven't had much call-ins because our schedule hasn't permitted us to be here as much as we would like, but now we're here. Everything's good to go. We shouldn't be missing any more. The weather looks like it's broke. So, with that being said, for our executive producer, Honeybee, my name is Les Martin.
And I'm Colby Burge.
Thank you for watching Just Sports. You're watching Just Sports on WLAF Sports Radio.
Listen up.